Alright, 4-turn Yinglong is now possible on semi-manual because you do need to target the second wave. I'm going to be showing you two teams. The first team has a little bit more RNG, and this is the team. Now, before you try this strat, this is going to require the patience of a monk. The RNG is absolutely brutal. I'll show you the odds of getting a successful run at the end of the video. But basically, now you're going to be running Lusheng, and Elif is going to be the wave clearer for wave 1 and 2. The reason why you want to run Lusheng is because you need to stack up Elif of the accentuated buff so that she can kill off the boss stage pretty quickly. She'll be on Calamity set and recurve, triple attack, and again she needs to be the fastest in the team, at least 150 speed. Next unit is going to be Chu Yao. He's going to be on the Harmony set and counter. This is very important. You do need him to proc the counter in order to land the defense break and the seer debuff on the third wave. Lusheng is going to be on the War set and Avatara with attack, and HP, just to make sure he doesn't fall below 30% HP because you get reduced damage from that. And then Feng Xun is going to be on the Calamity set, attack with Avatara as well. Tolan is going to be on crit rate and light set to AP boost you. Alright, let's go in. Again, this team is auto, but the second wave you do need to semi-manual because you need to target the middle guy. So first wave is pretty standard. You need to proc either an attack buff or crit damage buff on Elif in order to one-shot the first wave. If you have a really strong Elif, you might be able to just one-shot this first wave without the attack buff or crit damage buff. So let me see. Okay, I got the attack up and she casted her S3 twice. So in this stage right here, you need your Elif to be targeting this guy, and you also need to proc crit damage buff or attack buff. Also, you need to not crit on all 4 of these units right here. And Elif has a 15% base crit chance. You need to land 85%, 85%, 92.5%, and then 85%. That is already a brutal RNG, and we're only at wave 2. So when you do a multi, you want to be targeting this middle guy. She's gonna be using her S1. Let me see if I can proc. Okay, attack buff. Alright, okay, nice. We didn't proc any crit on the other 4 ads, so we managed to clear it within 1 turn. If you crit on one of them, you're not going to kill them because they take reduced damage from critical hits. So in this stage, you need to proc counter on Chu Yao, which is a 25% chance, and then you also need to proc a defense break. We didn't proc the counter, so this run is going to be a dead run. Alright, we're at wave 3. Let's see if I can proc Avatara on Chu Yao and also proc a defense break on his S1. Nope, failed again. So this is also going to be a dead run. Oh nice, okay. Proc and Avatara, defense break, but it's still not enough because the reason why it's not enough is because my Elif did not proc a 66% chance to get attack up or crit damage buff. You need to proc that twice in wave 3 because the first counter attack that Chu Yao does, you need your Elif to either get attack buff or crit damage buff so that she can cast her S3 and S1. And then when it comes to either Chu Yao's turn, when he casts his S3, or when Elif's turn, because sometimes Elif can cut your Chu Yao because she gets speed up buff, you also need to proc attack up or crit damage buff. So you need to proc 266% in wave 3.
20 minutes later.
Okay. This might be the run. There we go, 4 turns. So what happened there was my Chu Yao procced a Avatara, landed the defense break and also the seer debuff, and my Elif procced attack buff or crit damage buff, which made her proc her S3, and then when she got her turn, she also used the S3 and procced an attack buff or crit damage buff. So she ended up using the S3 twice, and we get a 4-turn run. Now let me show you another team. This one has slightly lower RNG, and that's running Brewster. You're running the same set on Elif, Lusheng, and also Feng Xun as well, Tolan as well. The difference is now you're running Brewster with the Calamity set and Avatara. The reason why you want to run Avatara or run Brewster in this team is because he has a defense break on his S1. So with this team, the strategy is slightly different. You need to either proc an Avatara on Brewster or any of your allies, and when that happens, you need your Brewster to proc defense break before your Elif does her S1 and S3, because otherwise you will not have enough damage. So with this team, I already got a Fortune. Again, it's the same concept. For wave 1, you still need to subject to 66% RNG, where you proc either crit damage buff or attack buff. Well, let me put it at ×2. And then for second wave, you need to manually target the middle guy. And also you need to proc an attack buff or crit damage buff. And you also cannot crit on any of the adds. So for this boss wave, you need at least one of your allies to proc an Avatara, which will then call in your Brewster for assist. And you also need to proc defense break. So there we go, defense break. And then Elif needs to proc all of the attack buff or crit damage buff to have enough damage to kill off the boss. There we go, very simple, right? Now let me show you the amount of RNG you are subjected to. For the Chuyao team, like I said, wave 1, you have a 66% chance of success. For wave 2, you need to proc 66% chance on getting attack buff or crit damage buff. And then you need to proc 85, 85, 85 because you cannot crit on any of the enemies, right? And this one is 92.5 because one of the adds is actually type advantage against Elif, so you have a lower chance of critting them. Wave 2 ends up being a 37% chance of getting a success run. And then wave 3 is the most brutal of all. You need to proc an Avatara on Chuyao, which is 25% chance. And then you need to proc defense break, which I think this is a little bit too high. It's probably lower than 80% chance of letting defense break because Yinglong has additional resistance to defense break. But I don't know the value, so I'm just gonna put 0.8 right there. And then you also need to proc Elif either attack buff or crit damage buff, which is 66%. And you need to proc it once again when Chuyao or Elif gets her turn, which nets you at a 8% chance of success on wave 3. And in total, to get a successful run using the Chuyao team is 2%. Brutal RNG, man. Alright, so next is Brewster. Again, wave 1 is the same. You need to proc attack buff or crit damage buff, which is again 66%. And then you have wave 2, same thing, 66% on Elif, 85% 3 times because 3 of the enemies, and then one of them is type disadvantage against Elif, so you have a 92% chance of not critting. Wave 3 is slightly higher compared to the Chuyao team because now you have 3 Espers on Avatara and you only need to proc one of them, right? And when you proc one of the Avatara, your Brewster is going to follow up with his S1 and you need to land a defense break. Once again, I don't know this value is correct or not. I gave Brewster 50% chance to land defense break with his S1 because I don't know what is Yinglong's additional resistance to defense break. And then the next one, you need to proc 66% chance of either attack buff or crit damage buff on Elif twice. So the total RNG for the Brewster team is around 3%. About 1% higher than the Chuyao team, which is still brutal as hell. Now, should you rush this one? If you are totally and completely insane and deranged person, you can maybe try to get a 4.9 average on Yinglong. That would probably put you at number 1. But if you are a sane person, I highly advise you guys to stay away from this because you might even go weeks without getting a 4.9 average on Yinglong. The RNG is absolutely ridiculous. Getting a 4.0 Yinglong with this strat is probably going to take you about 100 years. I'm probably going to try 4.9 with this strat, but it's probably not going to happen anytime soon. That's about it. Ciao.